Ready? Yay! Hello, fabulous all-stars who are out of town, and all of our people here. Don't worry, it's just me on the YouTube, but all the team is here. They were like not wanting to jump on the YouTube tonight. Anyway, but I'm really glad we can record this for everyone. This is a great exercise, and it'll be less than 15 minutes, so get your pens out and write quickly. Okay, so we're talking about busting up our ruts, and like I said, what you want to just be open to this new way of thinking. Okay, this is a new way to do it, and what we did before we got on the screen here is we did a deep cleansing breath. So one of your tools you have to write down is deep cleansing breath 3 times a day. Okay, and it looks like this. You just stop what you're doing, take a deep breath in, and let it out. Breathe in again, and let it out. Okay, and what I just did was slow your brains down from a high active state, what's called beta, it's a high active intensity state, to a lower level of intensity. And you're much more suggestive, and you can remember more when you're in what's called an alpha state. Now, that being said, we're not quite there. We're not quite in that lower brain state because you have to be kind of like really drifting and really, really relaxed. But just by slowing your breathing down, just like we did just a second ago, that creates that lower intensity. And you're more suggestive, and you can actually stop. So just real quickly, the reason that everybody wants to be successful. Everyone wants this. But we're not at times. And do we each have habits, procrastinations, things that we can't seem to get through? Okay. Would you say, and this is not just for your Mary Kay world, this is in your life, ruts that you need to get rid of. Things the way you've been doing it may have served you in the past, but it is not currently working. Okay, we need to move through that. So, the reason that you get stuck in that, your brains, oftentimes, now I'm not going to say this in a condescending way, but do you know that your subconscious mind is actually controlling what you're doing? We talked about this last week. Your subconscious mind is in control of you because your conscious mind says to go do something, and your subconscious mind says, okay, great, I got that. And then you're on autopilot. That's how you just pilot through your day, okay? Now, that'd be great if your autopilot was in tune with what you really want it to be, but your autopilot and your subconscious has picked up information that you have been given or told for years, perhaps, or even that you've heard and you just stored back in there. It may not be positive information. It may be stuff that you've heard from a family member that has been dumping on you for years, and you're like, oh, I'm over that? Maybe not. And I'm not your counselor. I'm not here to drag up all your stuff, but I'm asking you, could you be subconsciously doing things that are sabotaging yourself because of things that have been said to you, information you have received that doesn't serve you well, but you're kind of stuck in? So I'm going to give you my rut. My rut is hard work brings success. And you must work hard to be successful. Like, there is no easy. There is no simple. It must be difficult. It must be 12 to 14 hours a day. Now, we all know, Mary Kay, it does not have to look that way. I had a 2-hour skincare class and sold about $450. That was not hard. Did not take long. See what I'm saying? Right. So, but that came from my past. And so what I'm asking y'all to do is just to know that you may have things go running around in your head. Your subconscious is running you. And so our process that we're going to be doing this each week is to help you to see what areas you're having that are subconsciously you are running on, okay? And our goal is to stop and use a tool every week. This week we're just doing a breathe in and out. That's going to stop the madness, right? Why are we doing what we're doing? Stop it. And that gets you to focus in that moment. Instead of just doing what you've always done, which may not have worked very well, you could choose another way. But not if you don't stop yourself, right? From, eating the whole bag of chips. Okay? So that's what we're thinking about. So that just bear that in mind. Now, this is the different ruts you could be stuck in. So this is where you may want to take some notes. People on the camera need to take some notes. Get some pens out. There are like 7 to 10 different things. I'm going to read them to you. And some of that, just write them down. Some of them may really jump out at you, and those would be ones you want to examine for yourself. Okay? So these are different areas you could have a rut in. Okay? You might feel an emotional connection to some of this. Okay? This is a personal area that you want to desire for change. Okay. Spiritual connection, which would be things like your faith, connectedness, staying centered, trusting in a higher power, peaceful living. Spiritual connection, okay? The next one is personal improvement, self-development, education, personal growth, business development, skill improvement. Okay, so that's personal improvement. Third one is body health, exercise habits, eating or drinking patterns, stress levels, addiction issues, body image, physical energy, weight management. Any of those. That's number 3. Fourth one is personal fulfillment, creative expression, meaningful work, personal purpose, making a difference, leaving a legacy. It's personal fulfillment. And again, as you're writing, really hit on the ones that are you are like, oh, that is an area for me. Money, income level, financial independence, debt management, lifestyle planning, security, investments, retirement planning. So money, all different areas. Lack of money. Okay, that may be it. Personal relationships is another one. Finding your soulmate, maintaining loving relationships, managing personal challenges, personal relationship challenges. Time management. So that would be time freedom, prioritizing, procrastination. Okay, time management. Job or career, career satisfaction, motivation, your work environment, advancement options, feeling valued, relating to your job and career. Another one is focus, your personal organization, distractibility, feeling of control. Okay, about 3 more. Negative emotions, holding on to the past, pessimistic attitude, nagging doubts, limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging behavior, past trauma, mental obsessions, worry, lack of self-confidence, guilt or anger. That's relating to negative emotions. Another one, negative relationships with friends and family, judgment issues, guilt, abuse, resentment, grudges, negative influences in those areas. Fear and fear of, this is the last one, success, failure, risk, change, the unknown, aliens, sorry, outside threats. So I had to make this funny because really we're getting all deep in here. So, okay, so those are the top areas. Now, what your goal is, you have several items as you went through here. You should have had some of these areas that you felt more deeply about, that you maybe immediately went, ow, painful. Does anybody want to share one of them? I'll happily share one of mine. Anybody?
I gained a lot of weight, so I'm going to go on the HCG diet soon. And
okay, so the body image one struck out at you.
Right.
Body image and health struck out at you. Okay, that's great. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. I'll tell you one of mine. I believe in, I'll lead by example. I had a big one in negative emotions. Negative emotions. Yeah, very big. I thought I gotten through that, but apparently not. So that was a big one that stuck out at me. So what you want to do is, now, your goal is you have to go back through and find your top 10 ruts. So write that down. You got all the words you circled, all the ones, and find the top 10. These are top 10 areas that cause you the most frustration, pain, or fear. The most. Okay, top 10. And if you want to say to yourself, if I could only change that, then finally. Okay, that's where you want it, and you want to write them down. Top 10. Okay, now, after you do that, okay, your next homework assignment, and we're going to do this in just a second, is you're going to go through and analyze. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do, and then we're going to turn off our tape, and this is for everybody to do, and then I'm going to take you through what you do. After you write down your top 10, you're circling, these are your top 10 things, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to analyze the gap between basically how important is it for you to not have this rut that you're in, this situation, And then how committed are you to doing something about it? And also the feeling of how do you rate yourself right now in that particular area? Okay, so for example, I had the word, I'm going to take you through this. I wrote down negative emotions as a problem for me. How important is it for me to get out of this area of negative emotions? From a scale of 1 to 10, I chose 10. I felt if my negative emotions are controlling me and every thought in my head is a beating myself up kind of thought, that is going to rip down everything that I'm building. So I thought that is a critical thing. And then to rate myself on how do I feel about my performance in that area, I gave myself basically a 6. I'm only mediocre. I'm halfway there. Okay? And then how committed am I to closing that gap from, being at a 6 to getting myself up to a 10, to getting myself where I wanted to be in negative emotions. I chose a 10 because I chose that is very important to me to get past that. That was a huge area. Now, there were some that I wasn't as impressed by, like I have one that I wrote down personal relationships. I feel like I need to grow in building better personal relationships. And so I said, well, it's important to me. So I wrote a 10. How important is it for me to make that happen? It's very important. I wrote down 10. I rated myself as having a 4. I wasn't doing so hot in that area. I felt like I haven't done as well as with my personal relationships in some areas. But how committed was I to closing the gap? I'm only a 7. I'm not that committed to that. I am more interested in fixing my negative emotions than I am working on my personal relationships, okay? So you will see when you do this exercise, some areas you're going to be really committed to and some areas you're going to be like, well, not so much, okay? And that's okay. So when you do that, the last step for you to do is, and we're going to do this together, and this is for recording so you guys can do this on your own, the last step is going to be to prioritize, and we're going to pick the top 3. Okay, so we're going to go through all 10 of these. They're going to pick the top 3 ruts, and then we're going to be able to discuss how they negatively impact you, okay? So again, your homework to do is you're going to pick from the 10, from these areas, 10 ruts that you have personally, that you are not doing so hot with. The next step is to rate yourself. How important is it for you to get out of this rut, 1 through 10? 10 being, like, if it's really critically, 1 is like, not so much. And the second thing, how are you doing right now in it? Is it, kind of sort of good? You have 4 or 5, you did pretty good there. And then how committed are you to closing the gap between where you are and getting to that number 10 spot? Okay, so that is your assignment. And once you finish all that, then you want to find your top 3 ruts from those 10 that you listed. And the way you figure that out, guys, is you look at it and say, how important is this rut to me to get rid of? How committed am I to getting rid of it? How much do I feel like, what's your commitment level? Because that will point you often to ruts that you really need to work on rather than ones that you might think you need to work on, okay? So, and again, I credit this to Deb Erickson, who has been my business coach for the past about month, and she has a website. She actually has a radio call that is free on Wednesday nights, and I can email that to everybody. I will put y'all in contact so you can listen into that. You can sign up as a beauty consultant for this. It's whatever you choose. I want to make it available to you. But she has a free coaching show she does on Wednesday nights, and it's a great thing to get into, just to listen in, because my thought is if you can control the 6 inches between your ears, that's half of the battle in any area, okay? So goodbye, All-Stars. I hope y'all enjoy all of your wonderful homework. I know you'll be right back here next week so we can do this again. Yay!